Hello, fellow fans, to United We Fan Plus, the premiere episode based on our, I'm going to say it, off our hit podcast, United We Fan, the podcast. I'm Mark, and uniting with me, as always, is the amazing Bryan. What up, Bryan?
Hey, everyone. Hey, how are you?
Woo! Bryan, that's a sweet jersey there.
Oh, Gordon Bombay fell down. Hang on.
Oh, no.
There we go.
Okay.
Now he'll fit in.
There we go. I was about to say, we got to be united still for our Flying V here. So, thank you all once again to United We Fan Plus. Our man behind the curtain who's helping us behind the scenes is Mark from This Diz Life. Please check out their podcast, YouTube channels. Great stuff there. If you enjoyed our intro music, shout out to Justin Dye, the composer.
There he is, right there in the comments.
Yeah, hey, buddy. Check out his Bandcamp. Just came out with a new album. I love it. Listened to it multiple times. Great stuff. Check him out. And then, Bryan, you ready to start this up? United We Fan Plus.
Yeah, I'm excited. If this is the first time you're catching United We Fan, welcome. We're happy to have you. Definitely hit us up in the comments. We are relying on your participation to help us get through this show. If you have never heard our show before, Mark and I, United We Fan, just as it says. Mark, if you see our logo in the top corner, holding Captain America's shield with a Harry Potter scar on his forehead. I've got a lightsaber, Baby Yoda there along the bottom. And then, of course, Sam Eagle across the top. We unite in all things fandom. And we are on anywhere you find your podcasts. We've been running for, we were talking about this yesterday, Mark. I think our 1 year anniversary will be in May. So we've found a pretty good thing going. I mean, at least we think it's good. So if you don't, well, let us know. But anywhere you find your podcast, United We Fans. So it's been a lot of fun. Last week we did a Black History Month episode. We had a guest host on, Maya. She gave us a lot of really good insights into specifically Black Panther. That was the main thing that we talked about, but as well as Drumline, Barbershop, a couple other things as well. If you want to hear my thoughts on Zack Snyder's Justice League, this is not the place for that. So
I will happily give my thoughts on Zack Snyder's Justice League, though.
Check us out. This is This Diz Life.
That's true. So, large variety of episodes. We fan out all kinds of things. We have a Broadway episode, romantic comedies, Steven Spielberg, and so check us out wherever you listen to your podcast. We are there to unite with you over everything nerdy and fandom.
And if you like Marvel, we both represent Marvel Mondays here on this same YouTube channel every Monday night, 8:30. We're going to be talking, oh man, that episode of WandaVision this week was so good. So we're going to talk that tomorrow. Falcon and Winter Soldier coming as well. So lots of good Marvel stuff happening too.
I will admit I don't wake up at 3 a.m. for WandaVision just because I have work like 2 hours after 3 a.m. But Falcon and Winter Soldier, I will probably be waking up at 3 a.m. for. I feel like I have to.
At least the first week.
Yes. Yeah. Got to see it.
What's up, Matt? Coach DeFranco.
Yeah. Hey. And a big part of our intro or beginning parts of our podcast is where Bryan and I go over Mount Rushmores, where we do our top 4 favorites. Bryan started it all on his social media, and we carried it over to our podcast. So we're going to, of course, bring it up here, and we hope to hear your thoughts, whether they're not in agreement or they right on. So chime in with us. But Bryan, you ready to start our first Mount Rushmore?
Mark, are we ready? That is going to make a surprise appearance throughout the episode. I have a feeling. I'm kind of excited. So this week we talked about, what's that?
I was going to say I don't think that'll ever get old for me, seeing your face on there.
I think it might get old, but regardless, we're going to see your face on it too shortly, so don't worry about that. But this week, Mark, we're going to do our Mount Rushmore, and what better way to welcome us to This Diz Life than to rank our 4 favorites Disney Channel original movies, the DCOMs. So my personal 4 favorites are, I grew up on Disney Channel original movies. I love them. there's going to be several different.
Hey, Dr.
Bruce
Bird.
Lee is here. Bruce Lee's here. That is my father. So he's a supportive daddy. I think he never thought he'd see his kid in the side of a mountain. So, but Disney Channel original movies, Brink, the rollerblading movie, Team Pup and Suds. That is absolutely in my favorite four. The Famous Jet Jackson, the movie. The Famous Jet Jackson, I love that TV show. I don't think the movie is actually that good, but that show's not on Disney Plus yet, and it needs to be. Johnny Tsunami, when the surfer goes and learns how to snowboard. I prefer that one. And I think my last one, I think I'm going to go with Smart House just because of how frightening that movie was to me as a kid. Phantom of the Megaplex, there's all those other ones. I'm not going back that far, but I'm just simply going back to 12-year-old me. So I think I'm going to go with Brink, Jet Jackson, the movie, Johnny Tsunami, and Smart House.
Bryan, once again, our Mount Rushmores don't align in any way. For all you first-time viewers out there, Bryan and I, the reason we have a great bromance is that we agree maybe one out of every 5 times. I don't know. Anyways, but Mark, here's my timer.
Oh, that's funny every time. You're right.
I know. I just want that poster on my wall, I think. So my Mount Rushmore is going to be, let's see here, Phantom of the Megaplex. You mentioned it. I love Phantom of the Opera, love movie theaters. Phantom of the Megaplex. It's like all for me. And then
Mickey Rooney, too.
I know. Oh, Mickey Rooney. And then I'm going to get judged for my next two, and whatever, who cares? You're tuning in to hear our thoughts. So first up will be.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah, we got to go with. I mean, we're all in this together. I have to go with High School Musical, the first one. So, and then next up, I will happily be judged for this, but it's so darn catchy. The Descendants 3. So Descendants 3 for my third Mount Rushmore, and then I feel. You know, when I had a beard pre-COVID, all this, when it was bearded, I often got Abe Lincoln a lot. So yes, I would fit over that one. For my fourth on my Mount Rushmore is I will be surprised. If anyone out there has seen this, please shout it out. Bride of Boogity. Anyone? Bride of Boogity? It's on Disney Plus. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Please watch it. It's so good.
I don't think it was the Disney Channel original movie. I'm going to allow it, but it was like a Wonderful World of Disney original movie.
It is 93 minutes. Come on. Come on.
All
right. You know what? I'm going to go with our show, our rules. So,
all right.
Bride of Boogity, Phantom of the Megaplex, The Descendants 3, and High School Musical. Bride of what? Never heard of it. Disney Plus, Bride of Boogity. It's part 2. The first one was called Mr. Boogity, both on Disney Plus.
Isn't Mr. Boogity only like 40 minutes total?
Yeah.
Like, isn't it super short? Yeah.
That one was a episode of Wonderful World of Color. So yeah, both of them together is 2 hours. So take some 2 hours, go ahead and pause WandaVision for a little bit and watch Mr. Boogity and Bride of Boogity.
Don't turn off WandaVision the first time around to go watch them.
Yes.
Though. Like at least watch it first.
Yeah.
So can I no, I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to hold on to it. We'll get to it.
Oh. Bryan.
We're good.
You sure? I mean, that sounded like epic.
I don't understand High School Musical. I don't get it.
Like any of them?
Like I just don't understand it. There we go. I mean, I don't. It's not my thing. Like I've seen a YouTube video where I think it's High School Musical 2 when Zac Efron's running across the golf course and they put it up to Let It Go from Elsa. Like that, I enjoy that much, much better. I was a little bit I was too cool in high school. Let's put it that way to ever have watched High School Musical. Like when it was brand new, I never would have done it. And I've never enjoyed it. High School Musical, the series, I think I got all that in the right order. I actually didn't hate it. But now it's caused a bunch of teenage drama through some song called Driver's License, which I just learned about this week. But we're gonna not touch on how old I am at that point. So,
and I know the guys over at Mystery Science Theater did a little commentary for the first one. Maybe that'll help you appreciate it a little bit more. Oh, good for you. The whole soundtrack.
Esther sings along with the whole soundtrack. I don't know Esther personally. I only know her through this life. But yeah, I think Mark's got all the choreography down and everything.
Sweet. Yeah, down. God, we are so old, aren't we?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Thank God Mark over here has great graphics to make us look young and hip.
I'm sorry, Lori.
Well, Bryan, Disney Plus, we mentioned WandaVision. That's going on right now. It's pretty exciting. Oh, what? Why? Was it the dancing or the singing? Both?
It's a combination.
I know. So, Disney Plus, they just announced some new exciting dates, some date switcheroos, and some premiere dates, period. Bryan, what are you excited for coming up?
So, a couple of the release dates they announced this week, many different things. The two that stood out to me the most, we get Loki on June 11th. Now, originally we thought Loki was coming in May because that's what we were told. So we're getting Loki June 11th, which makes me that much more confident that Black Widow is going to get a premiere access double premiere access theatrical release in May. I've been saying this for months and it still hasn't happened yet. But I'm confident in that, where in May we'll get Black Widow to do its thing and then Loki coming out in June. So June 11th for Loki, and then Monsters at Work is a
thank you, Dwayne. Yes, I am.
The dual threat there. Yeah. So Monsters at Work, that's another thing that I'm very excited about. It's based off of right after Monsters Inc., when they found out that laughter is more powerful than scream, and all these students that are they were coming in as new hires for Monsters Incorporated, and they have to switch from being scarers to stand-up comedians, basically. It does have John Goodman, Billy Crystal, all the original guys in it. They're not the main characters of the show, but this show wasn't talked about at all during Investor Day, so I was worried it had been canceled. But the fact that it now has a release date, I love Monsters Inc., so I'm excited about it. I really just hope it's a live cam for Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. I think that would make Mark Valentine very, very, very happy.
I will admit, Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor is a guilty pleasure. Every time they do the spotlight on that guy, I laugh. I know that. I think it's still a funny attraction. I know it has its critics though. Lori, we got to go back. Lori brought up helping you come around to no. I mean, Lori, you are right. I have the moves. Bust the move. There we go. What does that mean? Maybe I can bring you around like Hulk and Black Widow. Is the sun getting real low, Bryan?
I joined Mouse Ears and Magic one night to have a debate on the worst relationship in the MCU, and Bruce Banner and Natasha Romanoff and that romance, that awkward scene at the bar in Avengers Age of Ultron, did not work for me much at all. But they, including Amy and Dana over at Run Eat Drink podcast, they came on and made some compelling arguments as to why she would be, I guess, more attracted to him than ever. But hey, we're gonna have a visitor, everybody. What did you want?
The little one.
Okay. Say hi, Ray. Okay, that's Ray. So go find mom.
Wait. Ray. Yeah. What's
Ray,
your last name?
Ray.
Skywalker.
Ray. Mark has a question. What's your last name? Is it Lee or is it Skywalker? Lee. Okay. Go find mom.
Skywalker.
Sorry about that.
The first is wrong with that one.
Yeah.
Yay,
so
Lord.
yeah, but they made some compelling comments about why Natasha would be excited to be in a relationship with Bruce. It just still isn't my personal favorite, but they made some compelling arguments.
I think it was a good romance. I was all about their little heartfelt scene in Ultron. I think it was a cute moment that you don't often get in this huge blockbuster moments. Like they went deep into their backstory.
Oh, Matt was that guy at Laugh Floor. I'm so jealous.
What?
I don't want attention, but I want that kind of attention.
I know. That guy. Now, see, I feel like whenever you're that guy, I'm getting way off track of the deep moment from Ultron, but I feel like you either get the guy who sits there for that guy, like, doesn't really get into it, or the one that really plays it up. So I hope if you ever become that guy, like, own that moment. That is your moment. You're that guy.
I was that guy that had to buy churros for everybody one time. But Ray, the little girl that was just here, she got to play Boo in the retelling of the movie. That was the closest. That's the 2 times we've been on screen.
So cute. But anyways, I'm team Black Widow and Hulk, but I think the romance was quickly written out and didn't really go anywhere, so it didn't give it any justice.
That was a Joss Whedon decision that personally, it did spark one of the greatest things that we get from Falcon in Avengers Infinity War, where she says, "Hi, Bruce," and says Nat, and Falcon says, "Well, this is awkward." So,
and then I love Vision's response to it, like oh, Vision.
Oh man, we got like legit, like, I was born yesterday Vision back this week on WandaVision. It was so good. Like, I can't wait to talk about that tomorrow night. We're gonna move on then, Mark. Yeah. We won't go adult game night territory.
And we are moving on. All right. Well, you brought up Monsters Inc. I'm excited for it. I definitely, the first Monsters Inc. is in my Mount Rushmore.
That's why we're moving on, Justin.
And then let's see what else. You mentioned Loki, and I think your theory about why they moved it for Black Widow, I'm good with it. I want to see Black Widow in theaters. I think it's going to be epic. I think it's going to be great. But the times we are, I think giving it a month in theaters and then coming to Disney Plus it's a great option. Not the ideal option, but yeah.
Yeah, and another thing that got a release date was Big Shot with John Stamos. He's a NCAA basketball coach that gets in trouble for something. I don't know all the details, but then he has to go coach at an all-girls high school, coach a basketball team. And as a father of three girls, I do not envy that position.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Uncle Jesse, if you ever get a chance to catch him playing with the Beach Boys, the guy knows how to drum.
We're getting there, Ethan. We'll talk about Flora and Ulysses. I actually really enjoyed that movie.
Yep.
So I'm excited for Loki. But yeah, so I guess, did we want to talk about what we're watching on Disney Plus, or I guess we're not quite there yet, are we?
We're kind of in the mood for with WandaVision and movies. Let's talk about the new Cruella trailer. That one dropped, and I think it got mixed reviews, so I don't think it went as well as everyone at Disney was hoping. You're about to see why Bryan and I work so well together with our different viewpoints. You can see by Bryan's face. He's looking at the Cruella trailer like I look at the Lion King live action movie. So go ahead, Bryan.
Yeah, so if you've never listened to us before, Mark really despises the live action Lion King because it didn't do anything new. It simply retold the same story, which for me is fine. It was my very first movie I ever saw in theaters as a kid. I will give Jon Favreau a pass for basically the rest of my life because he gave me Iron Man and The Mandalorian. So
and Elf.
And Elf, yeah, absolutely. But it was I didn't hate you. But it worked. I mean, it worked. It made $1.7 billion for the company that we love. So I mean, they'll make another one. I don't think that Lion King 2 is really worth retelling. So I think you'll get your chance of an original story there. But Cruella, man, like, you could call it mixture. I want to light that thing on fire as much as she lit that coat on fire in that unnecessary scene that, like, they're making Cruella out to be Maleficent, like in some mythical world where her coat can burn off. Like, there's nothing in that trailer that really appealed to me. And if I'm wrong, by all means, you can tell us in the comments. I love Emma Stone. Like, you have to work really, really hard to get me to not care about Emma Stone, but they did it.
If you've listened to our show before, you are well aware that Emma Stone is, oh, thank you, Katie. Emma Stone is in my celebrity crushes. I loved her in Easy A. I think she was brilliant in the underrated La La Land, and I know I get a lot of hate for that. And then I love her as Gwen Stacy. Wish that character could have been developed a little bit more, but oh well. I think Cruella. I don't think it was a strong trailer. I'll go with that. That it could have been a little better. The dress kind of reminded me of the Hunger Games. I think it was the first movie with the burning dress. I was like, oh, okay. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be better than some of our more recent live action adaptations. I'm looking at you, Mulan, as well as The Lion King. I think it's going to be fun. I think I like Maleficent, so I think the villain live action updates will be good stuff.
Ethan said he's going to trust the writing. Live action Walt Disney Studios live action has lost it for me. There hasn't been really a live action movie that Walt Disney Studios has put out in a while that I've enjoyed. Wrinkle in Time, all those kinds. Artemis Fowl, like don't get me started on Artemis Fowl. I had a lot of issues. I haven't really actually left a movie theater happy with a live action remake since Cinderella. I have walked out of multiple of them going, oh, that was better than I thought it was going to be. And then there was others like Dumbo that I never even tried to revisit. Maleficent is good because it at least is doing what Cruella might be doing and giving a villain that is beloved in all the weird ways, a backstory that we may not have. I think Horace and Jasper have a lot of potential. I wish they had cast people that we knew about better. And these actors may be best for the job. I just don't know really who they are.
Yeah, I mean, that can go one of two ways. Like, say, how they casted Timon and Pumbaa for live action Lion King. They were names. Like, I actually like Seth Rogen. So, but when I heard them, I was just like, oh, man, that kind of took me out of it. So sometimes no names is sometimes the best approach. I also agree, Dwayne. I like the live action Aladdin. I'm going to get judged for my taste in live action Disney. Bryan, I'm with you. Artemis Fowl. I love the director, Sir Kenneth Branagh, but that movie just did not wow me. And then Wrinkle in Time, I was kind of bored. I'll admit it. But I'm also the guy who really enjoyed John Carter of Mars. So hope I don't get a lot of hate on that. Oh, yeah. Is that a hot take?
John Carter of Mars? It's aged better than I thought.
Yeah. Cinderella, Katie, I'm with you. Kenneth Branagh, who did Artemis Fowl and also the first Thor movie, he did Cinderella, and I think that might be my favorite live action adaptation is the Cinderella one.
Esther says, what about live action Beauty and the Beast and Alice in Wonderland? Live action Beauty and the Beast, for me, completely trafficked in your love for the cartoon. There would be many, many plot holes in that movie if you didn't mentally fill what happened, because you understand the cartoon and kind of what happened there. They kind of jump around quite a bit. It was not something that I personally loved. Emma Watson was good in the role. I actually really liked Dan Stevens as the Beast. But overall, I didn't love that movie. And the Alice in Wonderland, Johnny Depp stuff, I'm out on those.
The first one's fun. The second one, it felt like a cash grab. And then, real quick about Cruella, I don't understand why people are calling it a Harley Quinn ripoff. Her look if you're a female with pale skin, are you automatically Harley Quinn, even though you don't do the craziness, zany laugh? Like I never understood that.
Well, I mean, if you do the zany laugh, I guess that's what they're going for.
Justin, I would tune in for that because it would be something different, probably. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to keep making them because they're making money. Return of Jafar, if that's the way they go with Aladdin 2, I hope they recast Jafar. That guy was a little bit too one-dimensional for me. He's a good-looking dude, but he has no inflection in his voice. I want that. He was handsome, like, don't get me wrong, but
yeah. Well, Bryan, we keep seeing the hot take pop up. You think it's time for some hot takes?
I've got a couple.
Yeah. I think I got one too. For all of you out there who aren't familiar with our podcast, Brian and I started a recent hot take part where it's hot, where we tackle something that maybe isn't the most popular opinion and may get us some pushback. So
I'm gonna tie mine in a little bit with the parks. Disney parks are coming. Ratatouille is coming to Epcot, and while I am excited for that film, or excuse me, for that attraction, I don't understand why anybody loves that film. It's not my thing. For whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but nothing about that film connects with me, nor WALL-E. So I would say what many people would consider as two of their four favorite Pixar films, they are in the bottom half for sure for me. So that's what I'm going to go with. For those of you not aware of what our show is or what my opinions are, is that WALL-E, I simply don't like that movie, and Ratatouille, I just don't get it, even though I love Patton Oswalt. Did you stage yourself while I was on the full screen?
I didn't even think about that. I'm
standing by it.
WALL-E is in my top 3. Ratatouille is in my top 10 for sure. Oh God, Katie liked Artemis Fowl.
Yeah, Katie liked Artemis Fowl. We might have to have Katie on. We need to.
That's her hot take.
Yeah, that is a hot take. Alicia and I were doing so well.
Yeah.
Ratatouille. Well, I stand by it.
I mean, Ratatouille, the facade looks beautiful. I think watching the ride footage, it looks beautiful. I think riding in person, it'll be beautiful. I respectfully disagree, Brian.
That's fine.
Look, everyone's, I feel like, taking it easy on for you.
You're being so much more respectful when we're live. I kind of like this.
I know. Oh man. Well, okay. I always hate it when people are like, "Well, you're wrong." Well, you can't be wrong. It's an opinion. It may not be the correct opinion, but it's an opinion.
The Beatles are overrated.
Well, okay, Brian. Music, we have decided, is already not your forte, so we're not going to go there. Okay. Well, you know what? Oh wow. Oh God.
Whoa! Justin's on fire. Oh man, that is.
Justin, Justin.
Everybody has an opinion. That is the worst Pixar movie.
Wow.
The Good Dinosaur. Oh boy.
All right. Well, I'm ready to fire up some of you Disney fans with my hot take. So, Brian, you ready for mine?
I'm ready.
We're zooming in for it. Okay. My hot take. Let me not cover up the graphic. My hot take for our first episode of United We Fan Plus is, I think Dole Whip is overrated. I don't get it. When I go there, I get the pineapple upside down cake. They go, "Do you want the Dole Whip on it?" I'm like, "Can I get the vanilla?" And they're like, "You sure?" Yeah. I think the I Lava You version is better. But as Ben Wyatt from Parks and Rec says, I don't get it. What's with Dole Whip? I don't get it. Anyways, that's my hot take. Dole Whip, meh. So.
Standing ovation.
Oh.
Standing ovation.
Thank you.
I don't like pineapple on anything, though, so I'm probably not your best ally. But, yes, I don't get – I think my dad's mad about the – I don't think it's the Dole Whip. I think he's mad about the Beatles thing. He gets on my case about that, too.
Yeah, I wish your dad would have raised you a little better to like the Beatles, maybe.
Okay, that's a low blow. You can come after me. You can't come after him.
You know what? I will say this. Dr. Lee, I appreciate all of your wonderful comments and messages. Do like Dr. Lee does. He messages us, and we love to give him shout outs. So if you guys ever want to reach out to us, we love it like Dr. Lee does.
Mark is typically judgmental. Yeah, that's fair. I'm completely with you on the Dole Whip. I don't get it. I just it's not my thing. So he was talking about the Dole Whip.
See, this is why this man is one of our favorites on the show, right there.
No. He likes the Dole Whip. I think that's what he's going with.
I love pineapple. So, and like I said, I get the pineapple upside down cake. That's one of my favorite desserts. So when I go there, it's just
Jeff, we do not represent our opinions. Do not represent that of This Is Life. Please do not unsubscribe just because of us.
I'm sure our hosts are shaking their heads as well. Bruce, thank you, Bruce. Bryan, like no Beatles, like you don't get it?
Nope, not at all. Nope.
Bryan, yesterday, I want to get back, Bryan. I want to hold your hand.
United We Fan Plus.
Help. Bryan's making me Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band right now.
Yeah, my dad's got it right. Like I eat like a 5-year-old. So if a 5-year-old's not going to eat it, like you can't take my assessment on food, and that's why I didn't go with something like Dole Whip, because everybody's going to give me just no credibility. You already lost your street cred because of your singing and your dancing earlier. So
it actually, you know what? I'm proud of myself because it took everything I have not to go for my hot take. I don't get why everyone likes Dole Whip. Dole Whip is not that great. I don't get Whip. Why it's so good to like the Dole Whip. So
why am I saying what way? Whiskey.
Right, what? And then we go straight into like Owen Wilson somehow. Wow, the Dole Whip. Wow.
Welcome to a non-edited episode of United We Fan, everybody.
If you all knew how often we do our own sound effects when we do our podcast, you would be amazed. Like the air horn, one of us will say something and I'll just be like, oh, that's a good take. Burr, 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 burr. So
I think Lori seems to be asking us if she likes the turkey leg. It had question marks. Turkey leg, I love the smell more than I do the taste, but I will absolutely stand next to a turkey leg stand.
I'll go with a hot take for the turkey legs. Disney doesn't have the best theme park turkey legs. I think a certain other park has a better turkey leg.
We can agree that the churros over at the shadowy place, their churros are rough.
Yeah.
The Disney churro has it figured out.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Ethan. I love that Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney. That song is so catchy. Even the music video is fun, nostalgic stuff.
Paul McCartney's Wonderful Christmas Time is the worst song in the history of songs.
That is correct, Bryan. It is one of the top 5 Christmas songs ever written. Simply. I'm a double threat. Simply having wonderful Christmas time.
That can't possibly be the actual choreography.
No. I mean, that song is about, what is it? Boys in a basement conjuring up WandaVision evil spirits. Oh my God.
Yeah, there you go.
Agatha came up with that song, and I wrote that song.
Yeah, Agatha wrote Wonderful Christmas Time. That would make a ton of sense.
Oh,
all right.
No,
anyway, I think that's enough hot takes for the night. I think we're lighting the place on fire.
Yeah, let's move on.
Ooh, my wife likes the cream cheese pretzels. Thanks for joining us, Alicia.
I don't know what's happening right now. We never know. This is why we're usually edited, because we don't know. Well, Bryan, do we want to talk about what we're watching right now on Disney Plus?
So Ethan brought it up earlier. Flora and Ulysses. That movie's hilarious. So it's long story short, it's got Lily from How I Met Your Mother, and it's got John Ralphio from Parks and Rec. Like poor Ben Schwartz, like he's got the John Krasinski like syndrome where anytime I see him, he's John Ralphio. Like John Krasinski is always going to be Jim Halpert, and there's nothing he can do about it, even if he's Jack Ryan. But Ben Schwartz fit that role perfectly. My wife really, there's my wife right there. She does like those cream cheese pretzels. But my wife was watching Ben Schwartz in Flora and Ulysses, talking about how much she likes him. I think because he's the nerdy dad. And hopefully not because he spends most of the film away from his wife. But he's a comic book artist and author, and his daughter really loves comic books, and she makes a squirrel friend who becomes a superhero. And there's so many funny Marvel references, and the doorbell makes the Imperial March from Star Wars, and she's like, "Are you gonna fix that doorbell?" He's like, "What are you talking about? I did fix it. That's why it sounds like that." It's amazing. So, and there's even an "I love you 3000" comment in that movie. Like it's not the greatest movie ever, but Flora and Ulysses is really, really good, a good family film.
I I'm going to be that guy. Did anybody else notice that in the beginning, that sounded so
I
serious.
didn't know it was a book. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Fun fact. In the beginning of the episode, we're talking about Marvel characters, Disney film, talking about Marvel movies. Wow. But did anyone catch the comic book that she's trying to sell in the beginning?
Is it the Batman one? I saw a
No.
Batman comic book in there. What was the
Yeah.
one she was selling?
Green Lantern. So I thought it was funny. I mean, I love Green Lantern, so DC fans, woo! But I thought it was funny. We went from Marvel to her selling her DC comics. But anyways, shout out to Matilda, who plays Flora. I always enjoy a child actor who is, I don't want to say annoying. I feel like that's aggressive. Who's a good child actor. I always appreciate a good child actor. She's great in it, and I honestly didn't know what it was going to be about. I just saw a picture of the squirrel doing the superhero landing pose, and I was like, is that based on that picture of a squirrel that everyone makes a meme about? I felt really old manish, but then I looked into it a little bit more.
Ethan said, "No wonder you only offered $30 because of the Green Lantern comic." Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, I set you up for that. She's gonna do it. She's gonna do it. Oh, it's bad on the knees. Ooh, yeah. So I definitely thought it was based on a picture of a squirrel who just happened to land like a superhero. Oh, good for you, Brady. Yay. Do you have a favorite Green Lantern? And so I was very surprised by it. Don't go in there with any expectations. Just go in there. It's so good. It's a good film.
We just had a comment in there saying from JC that loves the show. That's my daughter, JC. So hi, JC. Thanks for watching. It was fun. Like Bobby Moynihan, the blind kid like coming around. Like I was fully in on the blind kid being like the comic book villain for a while. Like, and my kids were, why are you so like evil, Dad? And I mean, I don't know. Like, so spoiler alert: the blind kid is not actually the villain, but it was a fun movie. Like Bobby Moynihan was funny. He wears like all the Star Wars shirts, like having the Disney money behind it just so they could simply do the Star Wars stuff and all that kind of made it feel like real life. And Ben Schwartz was really fun in the movie. I think Ben Schwartz is hilarious. John Ralphio, like he cracks me up.
At one point I thought he was going to say, like, you have a squirrel, that's kind of suspicious. And then I wish we could have gone in, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious. So I was like waiting for a moment, but I'm glad they didn't do it.
Well, there's other good Marvel related stuff on Disney Plus right now too. There's a documentary called Behind the Mask, and it's a 1 hour documentary with comic book creators and how they kind of have expanded the diversity within the world of comic books and the creation of certain characters and just everything that goes into marketing and creating superheroes. That's another thing on Disney Plus that I've really, really enjoyed. Mark, I think you were able to check out Behind the Mask as well too, right? Like I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. I don't think I knew what it was going to be about. I try to go into things sometimes just blind, and I thought it might just be about giving characters. I just love this Stan Lee quote at the end or in the beginning there where they're talking about, I'm going to jump points, I don't care. Stan Lee in the beginning saying, all right, you got Spider-Man. He's jumping off. You got the thwip, and all that. But now we're going to show you who he is, that character behind it, the teenage boy who has real life problems and all that. That's what makes a great comic book character, is that you care what's behind them. And I love that they dealt with the psyche about, I mean, we all know the characters, but do we know their alter egos? So I loved the show. I love that it wasn't preachy, but it also delivered a very good message. So I was a big fan of it. It's about 90 minutes, but it flows by very quickly.
Was it that long? I only thought it was like an hour. Yeah. I can't remember. It's been a while since I watched it.
Yeah.
If you're not watching WandaVision, you should. Anything else, Mark, that you're watching on Disney Plus that's worth mentioning here?
Marvel 616. I love that show. I've watched it multiple times. The first episode is about Japan Spider-Man. And if you're a fan of Power Rangers, you need to watch that first episode. And I hope Japanese Spider-Man appears in the next Spider-Verse. And it also I think it's the second to last episode deals with females in Marvel. So those behind the scenes, behind the markers, behind the pens, behind the story writers, behind the characters. I think that's a very powerful and great episode. And then shout out, I feel like it's me, so I have to shout it out. On Disney Plus, the BFG from director Steven Spielberg, music by, I know. I mean, there's a Spielberg movie on Disney Plus. How can I not talk about it? Check it out. It didn't do that well in the States and theaters. It was a bigger hit overseas. And it's just a beautiful, heartfelt, well-told movie, the BFG, Steven Spielberg. Bryan, did I mention it's directed by Steven Spielberg?
I've never heard of him, but that's fine. It's not like he really has done anything else anyway. So, what's from Doom? I don't know what that means.
I know. I was about to Google it so I could be a cool.
Doom was like all capitalized, so I'm sure it means something. Mark, let us know what Doom is. But Disney Plus, man. So let's get into kind of what's coming on Disney Plus. The whole reason we really wanted to be able to do this show. So there's lots of good stuff coming. So Disney Plus already was at 94.9 million subscribers at the end of Q1 for fiscal year 2022. So that was at the end of December. Then WandaVision has launched. So I think we're going to hit 100 million subscribers on Disney Plus by the next time we have that. And Disney Plus's first original goal for Disney Plus was 60 to 90 million subscribers by November 2024 at their 5-year mark. They've already surpassed that, and it's been 15, 16 months now. So Disney Plus has been everything and at the right time that the Disney company needed that revenue. So lots of good things coming on Disney Plus, and they're putting a lot of that back into content creation. So first and foremost, the first thing we're going to get in March from Disney Plus is, of course, the season finale, or probably the series finale of WandaVision. That'll drop this Friday. Also this Friday, they're doing a theatrical and Disney Plus Premier Access dual release for Raya and the Last Dragon. Mark, you excited about Raya?
I will. I'm not gonna do the whole Premiere Access. If it goes to theater, I know the theater near me is safe and all that. I'll maybe go catch it there. If not, I'll do like Mulan, where I'll just wait and try to avoid any spoilers. Esther, I'm sorry, but I'm glad you tried to watch it though. But I will watch it. I think the animation is beautiful. Once again, they are just upping their game with every intro or with every entry film. I know if you go to Disney's Animal Kingdom, they're even drawing characters from it at their animation class. So check that out if you're a fan of that. But I think it's beautiful. But as for paying for the, premium access, I think probably just the Marvel movies would be the only ones who could get me to do it.
I don't always put stock into what critics especially have to say. But I mean, I would call him a friend. He would call me an acquaintance regardless. I know somebody who has actually seen Raya and was able to, the media embargo for Raya actually drops tomorrow. So you'll be able to know what people thought of it. He said it was as obvious as could be that this movie was made during a pandemic, that all the animators were at home and nobody was able to collaborate with one another. And it was very jarring, the different scenes and everything, how it doesn't all come together to tell one cohesive story. That was his particular assessment of it. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. It might have prevented me from spending the $30. But like you said, the animation is gorgeous. But I think from a story standpoint, that's what had me a little bit concerned in the first place. I think Awkwafina as the voice of the dragon is really interesting. Kelly Marie Tran of Star Wars fame. Unfortunately, Star Wars fame for her probably because the way people treat her. But I don't know. I'm a little bit more nervous of it now, but I still think I'll do it. I want the business model, to succeed. I really like the ability to sit on my couch and watch it, especially for me. We go to the movie theater. I mean, even if I go on $5 Tuesdays, it's $25. So I'm spending $30 just to get a thing of popcorn and go to the movie. So for me, $30, especially if the kids like it, they can watch it to their heart's content. So that's probably why I'll end up buying it anyway. But I'm less excited for it now than I was 24 hours ago.
Well,
not to dampen anybody else's spirits, by the way.
I know. Well, Bryan, let me ask you, are you excited for Random Rushmore? I know, for everyone who's new to the show, I like to keep Bryan on his toes because, well, sometimes he looks rather bored or maybe just thinks he knows everything. So I like to surprise him with a Random Rush. Yes. Ah, so good. Well, yes, we're going to Random Rushmore Bryan. And keeping with our Disney theme, Bryan, are you ready?
I'm ready.
It doesn't get old. You're right, Mark. So for this Random Rushmore, Bryan will have to pick 4 of Disney World attractions that I'm not going to go with replaced, but could use an update or maybe some freshening up. What top 4 attractions would Bryan freshen up?
Can we take Test Track back to the original Crash Test Dummy version? That's number 1. Don't touch Splash Mountain. I would love.
Bryan, we're doing ones to freshen up. You can't save. This is freshen up.
I'm good with Spaceship Earth getting redone. I think it could. I know that it's been pushed back, but I would be okay with Spaceship Earth getting redone. So what? That's 2. Yeah. Test Track, Spaceship Earth. Man, I'm being mean to Epcot. Let's move on. Stitch's Great Escape is already closed, but I really like the ideas of turning that into like a Jack experience, something from The Incredibles. I think that would be really fun. They did a really good job with the Runaway Railway Great Movie Ride refurbishment, so I think they could do a good job at many places. My last one, I'm going to go with Voyage of the Little Mermaid. I think it's time to do something new in that theater.
Bryan, I said a freshen up or update, not something new. We're not replacing it, Bryan, so we still need a 4th one from you.
Oh.
Yeah. Although that I'm not disagreeing with you on Mermaid. I think that one, there's nostalgia there, but yeah.
Spaceship Earth, Test Track, you are accepting. And
yes.
Okay, so I guess Stitch's Great Escape doesn't count either. Tomorrowland Speedway.
Oh, yeah.
And Tomorrowland Speedway. You go. I'll think of my 4th one.
So for me, I'm going to say Test Track. I'm with you. I definitely miss the Crash Dummies, but I know we're probably not going to get them back, but I think there's something great that can be done there. And then, did you think of something?
No, my dad said that Radiator Springs Racers is better. And my wife is yelling at me about the Little Mermaid show.
I think that Imagination with Figment. I love Eric Idle, but I mean, I'm not going to lie. I know Figment is a huge merchandise magnet, but I think Figment, I love the original Dreamfinder. So I think Imagination, I wish that would get some love. Next up will be Rock and Roller Coaster. I love Aerosmith. I love taking off to Back in the Saddle Again. But, oh man, did I go Creed there for a little bit? Oh, anyways.
Yeah, that was Scott Stapp more than anything.
Yeah, that's my bad. So Rock and Roller Coaster for number 3.
You want to update Rock and Roller Coaster to Creed. That's what you want to do. That's amazing. That's a great idea.
With arms wide open. So, and then for my 4th, I'm going to do Pirates of the Caribbean. I want them to keep certain classic nostalgia parts. I don't want them to overhaul all of it, but just looking at some of the additions that, you know what, Mark, can I get my Rushmore? I know I got my hot take, but Bryan got his Rushmore. I want to get some of that too. Sorry, so good. Anyways, I think I would love it if they would add some elements from around the world, Pirates of the Caribbean's, to the classic attraction. But yeah, I think those are my 4. Oh,
You made James mad. I'm gonna actually go with the update that Disneyland has for Big Thunder Mountain.
that's
They have
interesting,
a big
Ethan.
giant they have a big giant TNT explosion at Disneyland in Big Thunder Mountain. I think it's really cool. Brady says he likes the great movie ride over Runaway Railway, and that's
Nickelback. Look at this photograph. You just went on Rock and Roller Coaster. Makes me
Rock
laugh.
and Roller Coaster is an Iron Man. I don't think that's something they can do with the Universal thing. That would be awesome. It was ready made for a Guardian.
Creed. Yay.
Wow, look at that.
I don't hate Creed.
Just think about how old we are, though, Mark. Like, if they made Rock and Roller Coaster today, it would be like Backstreet Boys. It wouldn't be Aerosmith.
How dare you, Backstreet Boys?
How old we are.
For all of you who don't know out there, Bryan and I also
My daughter just fired you.
Oh, no. Bryan and I, for all of you fun listeners out there, fun fact about Bryan and I, we disagree on boy bands as well. So, yeah.
She's probably right. Carousel Progress
you're not wrong.
Needs to be advanced.
You're not wrong.
Carousel of Progress with Wanda and Vision. That would be
Dinosaur.
Ooh. The Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland is my favorite Disney attraction of all attractions. Jaws and E.T. Esther's jumping over to that shadowy place. Not bad. All right. Well, thank you for the random Rushmore. We're at 52 minutes. We probably got to finish up. Let everybody get back to their night.
Yeah, let's do it. Why are you wearing that jersey, Bryan?
Well, one last thing. We've got Falcon and Winter Soldier. So on March 12th, we're going to get Marvel Studios Assembled, which is going to give us a behind the scenes of WandaVision. We're also going to get 4 episodes of Marvel Studios Legends. The pterodactyl on dinosaur is great.
Yes.
It screams at you still. And we're going to get 4 episodes of Marvel Studios Legends so people can remind themselves of who Bucky and Sam Wilson and Zemo and Sharon Carter all are. And then on the 19th, we get Falcon and Winter Soldier. Mark, you have been waiting for that forever.
Yes.
And then on March 26th, Mighty Ducks, The Game Changers.
Mm-hmm. Mouse ears. Shots fired. Wow.
Wow.
Disagree.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Really? Man. Somebody's going to be waiting in line
on that opinion.
Yeah. Wow. Nice. But Mighty Ducks Game Changers. Let us know if you're excited about it, because we're not. I really don't think this show is going to be really, really good. But I love the original 3 Mighty Ducks movies, as you can tell. So I'm going to watch it. I don't know why Gordon Bombay is falling on hard times again. We start the first movie, he gets a DUI. We understand all of that happens. Quack, quack, quack. But in the 3rd movie, he's too successful to be even part of the team. They have to hire the other coach at Eden Hall and all that kind of stuff because Gordon Bombay is such a successful lawyer and everything that he's doing. And now he's working an ice rink in Minneapolis, and he doesn't have anything going for him. So I'm a little bit bummed that Gordon Bombay, he just can't seem to win one.
Right. Brian, do we agree on...
Charlie Conway would have been fun.
Oh, I really wanted the show to be about Joshua Jackson, where Gordon Bombay was the wise, not Obi-Wan, but kind of the wise supporting character whenever Joshua needed guidance for his own journey. But Brian,
he could have been the Gordon Bombay character. But.
Do we agree on the ranking of the trilogy? The trilogy, it sounds like I'm talking about Star Wars, but the Mighty Ducks trilogy?
2, 1, 3.
I think I'll actually go with that. Yeah. 2, 1, 3.
I love the second one so much.
Now, would you say the 3rd one's underrated?
I would. I mean, it's got its issues, but I think all 3 of these movies are extremely underrated, personally.
Yeah.
They're very quotable for me, and Kenan Thompson in the 2nd and the 3rd one, I love him.
I remember the 2nd one came out, they made rollerblading really big in it, and of course I had to go get rollerblades so I could be part of the flying V on the Ducks. And I think the films still are a lot of fun. Are they somewhat dated? Yeah, but who cares? But watching the trailer, you see that the Ducks have become the Hawks, and they cut the kid, and I hope they explain maybe why or how the Ducks became how they are. Maybe Bombay trusted the wrong person to take over as coach, and who knows. But I just remember watching it going, that's the direction they went. Okay, and there's rumors out there Joshua Jackson might be making an appearance, but yay, Bash Brothers. And I know that was actually my question. I'm like, are we, because you see them create their own team, and at some point they're going to face off against the Ducks. So what do we do there? We were raised to love the Ducks, but now, and then I
have idolized Paul Correa ever since he played for the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, and then he showed up in D3, and that awkward radio kid was like, "We've got the Mighty Anaheim Ducks, Paul Correa. How you doing, Paul?"
I definitely hope there's merch for this new film. Man, they got me real bad with the original trilogy merchandise. Oh, so bad. Did anybody watch the animated Mighty Ducks series that it's on Disney Plus?
Heck yeah,
that is awesome. Nothing like the movies whatsoever, and
it's like superhero ducks, man. It's amazing.
It's great. And oh God, I feel like let's go shake their hands.
Let's go shake their hands.
I will always have a special place for the Mighty Ducks movies because they're the reason I got into watching hockey. For that, and plus where I grew up, there wasn't an NHL team. So when the Anaheim Mighty Ducks became a thing, I was a Ducks fan, still am. So Bryan, I know we disagree on our hockey teams, but yeah, this movie is the reason I got into watching hockey. That hockey, it's so good.
Go I don't know where I went go. There. I was way too old before I realized that Mark wants to do a random Rushmore on movies on ice. All right, go ahead, Mark. Mighty Ducks 1, 2, 3, Miracle. Done.
I'm gonna go Miracle, Mighty Ducks 2, The Cutting Edge, and oh God, what's the Alaska
Happy
movie
Gilmore.
with Russell Crowe?
Mystery Alaska.
Mystery Alaska. That'll be my 4. Yeah, but Cutting Edge for the little sneaker in there is a guilty pleasure.
Slapshot. I'm going to go with actually Slapshot. Does Happy Gilmore count?
No.
All right, fine. Slapshot, Mighty Ducks 1, Mighty Ducks 2, Miracle.
Wow.
Blades of Glory is not. I guess Blades of Glory would kind of count because it's a movie.
Yeah, that would.
Okay, then I'm going Cool Runnings. If we're going to count Blades of Glory.
Ooh, that's on ice. Yeah.
Grip with your toes.
Yeah. Grip with your toes. Kiss the lucky egg, Bryan.
Oh man. So
thanks, man.
I was far too old before I realized that Wolf the Dentist Stanson in D2 was just. I thought it was cool that it was a hockey player that was also a dentist because my dad was a dentist, so I thought it was cool. Then I learned what nicknames were, and then I realized Wolf the Dentist Stanson was just a jerk.
Bryan, I'm so happy you're my co-host. I love moments like this. This is awkward.
The other line that I remember from D2, the Mighty Ducks, well, there's the one when he meets Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That part cracks me up. But when they're talking to the tutor and the Hendrix hockey bear comes out and he's the polar bear with the jersey on, and he comes up to the tutor and he's like, "Oh, hey there, Missy, how about a bear hug?" I don't know why, but I remember that.
I rewatched the first Mighty Ducks, and oh my God, the coach of the Hawks, and then you have the flashback moments when you see Bombay as a kid when he, spoiler alert, misses the shot as a kid, and then the coach just jabs at him about oh man, I wish they would take that banner down. As a kid, I was like, oh, but now as an adult, ooh, I have words for that coach. I bite my thumb at him all the time, and I'm just like, you churro, you.
Win.
Ugh,
You're
yeah.
right. I mean, it's going to be weird. We're going to have to root against the Ducks. It's going to be odd. I still
Yep.
want a purple. I want a purple Ducks jersey.
Yep.
But the entire premise of making fun of the parents for bringing a trainer and a pediatric sports psychologist to like just the way youth sports have gone now, making it so expensive and pricing out families and the not talented, like all that kind of stuff. It's going to be really interesting. I don't know. It's going to be weird to root against the Ducks for sure, but we're going to get a scene of Gordon Bombay saying, "This is not who we were supposed to be." Like all that. It's going to be. I don't know, man. I love Gordon Bombay so much. I'm really sad the guy can't get a break.
Justin, I agree. That's Sean William Scott. Yeah, that's a fun little guilty pleasure one too.
Whatever happened to Sean William Scott?
The Stiffmeister. By the way, I think it was last week I brought back Cake Eater, and I was like, nowadays is that okay to say? Somebody was being very hoity-toity, and I was like, Cake Eater, I'm bringing it back.
You could just call him Adam Banks, I suppose. But yeah, Cake Eater's. I think Cake Eater's fine. I mean,
yeah, we're okay.
When I was a kid, it was K-Gear. I didn't know what they were saying. So.
Oh, did anybody else want to rollerblade through a shopping mall? For all of you young viewers out there, shopping malls are Amazon. But I wanted to rollerblade through a mall. That would have been
especially
great.
Especially the Mall of America.
Right. Which, fun fact, has the second largest parking lot in America. Bryan, do you know what has the largest parking lot in America?
Why would I know that? No, I don't.
You know what? If you're not interested, Bryan, I don't have to.
I am interested. I just don't know why I would know it. That's
true. Does anyone at home know who has the largest parking lot in America now that they expanded it recently within the past couple of years?
While they think on that, I'm going to give you my fun fact. Is the actor that plays Fulton Reed, and I apologize for not knowing it, but he is Foggy in Daredevil. He doesn't look the same at all.
I know. Yes, Ethan.
Does Magic Kingdom have the largest parking lot in the world?
Or the U.S. Since they expanded it.
Really?
Yep. Yeah. Disney. God, it felt like it before the parking garages. Joshua Jackson, I'm definitely hoping he comes back. He's done really good TV series. The Skulls with him is a guilty pleasure. So I hope he comes back.
Man, I haven't thought about the Skulls in a long time.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's also him in Dawson's Creek. I don't want to wait for our lives to be
Those darn Dawson's Rivers kids getting everybody pregnant.
Mama didn't raise
Check out
no
our
crew.
romantic comedies episode if you want to get that reference.
Yes. Bryan and I happily talked about that film that reference from, and Bryan even learned what Shakespeare play it's based on.
Yeah, Hamlet. So but I think it seems like we're getting most of the agreement that Mighty Ducks 2 is the best D2. It's the most iconic for sure. When they go play the street hockey against all those guys, and they throw the roller puck over, all that kind of stuff. I love when they teach. I can't blanking on his name right now, but when they teach the little Asian figure skater kid how to fight, and he goes glove, stick, shirt. Yeah. I love that. So
yeah, and I mean,
those movies are so good.
The third one is fun. They definitely went a different direction. Younger me, I remember not being a big fan of it, but then maybe as time went on, I liked it a little bit more. But I remember they went into the backstory of the coach, and it hit me though that all three movies, they go deep at some point. The first one, you have obviously Gordon as a kid, missing the slap shot and living with that. And then the third one with the coach and his story with his daughter.
Yeah.
But the second one, is it just Gordon kind of getting greedy and then like flying too high and crashing down?
Yeah, he was America's sweetheart.
What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mindful Merrill. That D2 has a good jock jams, like vibe to it. Oh God, do people still remember jock jams?
I do.
Oh, I hope so.
My kids would have no idea what you're talking about, however.
I know. I thought about the.
They're not on Apple Music. I've looked.
I know we're random, but I also thought about now that's what we call music. Do people even? Yeah.
Yeah, they're up. I looked this up. You want to know a random fact? I do know they're up to like 78 on now that's what I call music.
Wow.
Wow.
Where did we? Wow, Bryan. Wow. You look like Loki with that green on. Wow.
We're gonna wrap this up with you telling the world, and by the world I mean the wide world web and YouTube and whoever finds this.
Dwayne, I'm on Spotify.
Your favorite Mighty Ducks character. Who did you idolize as a kid when you put on the rollerblades and grabbed the hockey stick?
Oh gosh, it just hit me who I always pretended and had fun with, but could not do a great reenactment of him.
Goldberg?
No.
Oh,
no. From D2, the kid from Texas.
Dwayne Robertson.
I don't know why, but him like trying to showboat, yeehaw, yeehaw, and oh my God, what was wrong with me as a kid? Anyways, that's a long.
They're sending him to the penalty box. 2 minutes for roping.
I know. Well, good shout out to Julie the cat. What a nickname for her.
So. Yeah, and I always think of her in D3, where I've constantly said, "I'm bored. Fulton scored. I am really bored. Fulton's great."
Wow, we really are going to have a musical episode.
Nobody wants that from me. But Adam Banks, yep. No injury, not injury prone Adam Banks. That's a good one, Ethan.
Yeah.
Dude, Adam Banks was my guy. Like, I don't know what it is, but I love that dude. In the third one, Varsity? I made Varsity? Yeah.
What was it? You just said cowboy boots, dancing high school musical. I don't have a cowboy hat. I have an Indiana Jones hat. There we go. Mouse ears and magic. I could do it with an Indiana Jones hat, maybe.
And a whip instead of a lasso.
I'll do the hat spin up. I got this. So, geez, we're maybe it's better if we edit ourselves. Everybody doesn't know what happens between takes, between the panels on our episode.
Yeah.
So, but before we wrap up, I got to shout out the podcast 4 Scores on Spotify. It goes into movie scores. I'm a huge fan of movie scores. Bryan, I know you listened to the Tyler Bates one. He did the music for Guardians of the Galaxy. Most recent episode was Ludwig Göransson, who did for Mandalorian, Black Panther. So Tenet, his most recent one. So check out 4 Scores. I think it's like a 45 minute Disney movie score podcast. So check it out.
When you talk about movie scores, the original soundtrack for the Mighty Ducks, where on Walt Disney World property can you hear the Mighty Ducks soundtrack theme, Mark?
Soarin'?
If you know, put it in the comments.
Oh, oops. Am I
not
right?
Soarin'. It is not Soarin'. Nope, it is not Soarin'.
Soarin', I get happy because they play a tune from The Rocketeer, and that makes me happy. That's on Disney Plus. Please watch Rocketeer on Disney Plus. So good.
Ethan just stayed there this weekend, Wilderness Lodge, because the soundtrack to the Mighty Ducks sounds so majestic and glorious that you can hear it in that beautiful lobby at Wilderness Lodge.
That is a beautiful lobby. Majestic? That's what we're going with? Why not?
You don't know. You're clearly not recalling the soundtrack then. You need to look up the score.
Oh, The Last Starfighter. Guilty pleasure right there. Yes. Although that movie used to scare me when I was a wee little lad. So, Bryan, I think we're going to be wrapping it up for our series premiere of United We Fan Plus. I don't think that's going to catch on. I'm not going to keep that whole hand gesture thing. No, that's not going to make.
I'm sorry.
Wow. But we probably will keep the whip for a United We Fan. So, but thank you, fans.
On that one.
Yeah, that's fine. We don't have our crickets on this. But Thank you guys for tuning in for our premiere episode, United We Fan Plus. Thank you, Mark, and the This Is Life family. We can't thank you guys enough. And if you want to hear more of us for an hour to 2 hours, please check out United We Fan, the podcast, wherever you tune into your podcast. Justin, appreciate you, brother, for our intro and outro music. If you guys want some groovy tunes and some music, check him out. He's on Bandcamp. Great stuff.
Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Justin, Ethan, everybody. Thank you so much. We're happy to be here. So we appreciate it.
So
until next time, for the children.
For the children. Yes. All of them.